Hi, I'm Jack. I'm glad to present the topic Mics on Mute, Speaking Anxiety Among Prospective Special Education Teachers. This is my table of contents. I'm going to cover these three sections. I'll begin with a summary of the paper and I will provide you my viewpoints, and I have three inspirations after reading the paper. Because of pandemic, education institutions have shifted to virtual classes. There are pros and cons. For advantages, it includes extending perspectives and improving communication abilities. For disadvantages, it includes lack of participation, exclusion, and solitude. Since virtual classes can be defined as online platforms that facilitate communication by synchronous interactions, communication skills are important. When it comes to the development of speaking anxiety can play a detrimental role. When it comes to the relevant studies of the anxiety and the speaking anxiety, the effects of anxiety have been examined and show that students may struggle when they suffer from anxiety. Factors have been examined as well, including a lack of attention, being fearful of being criticized and judged, negatively thinking, and low competence. Most anxiety studies have focused on reading, speaking in class, or outdoor activities. In special education, throughout teacher education, field experience is a common need. However, it was noted that studies had not yet fully explored the causes and the coping mechanisms for speaking anxiety among prospective special education teachers in virtual classrooms. Therefore, this is the purposes of the present study. Here are two research questions. One, what are the factors that trigger prospective special education teachers speaking anxiety and their coping mechanisms? Here's the method. The present study adopted the qualitative descriptive design. The instrument was semi-structured interviews. A total number of 20 pre-service teachers in special education joined the present study. Thematic analysis was used to analyze the collected data. For trustworthiness, the instrument was validated by a PhD student in the field of language teaching. The instrument was piloted on 3 language majoring students. Here are the results. For factors that caused speaking anxiety, 11 themes were identified. For coping mechanisms, 6 themes were identified. Here's my critiques. There are twofold. For highlights, the first one, the title is somewhat attractive. I think it's very important when it comes to the submissions to conferences or journals. An interesting topic will attract chief editor's attention and the reviewer's attention. 2. The rationale was somewhat sufficient. It is important for researchers to provide justification and the motivation of the selection of the case of the selection of the certain topic. 3. The sample size was ideal and enough. Based on my observations of papers published in Q1 and SACI journals, those studies included more than 20 or even 30 participants to be interviewed. In the view of that, the present study included 20 participants, which was fairly enough. The last one, results were convincing with ample evidence. The present study incorporated with transcriptions and the interpretations in the results and discussion session. This way, readers may match transcriptions and compare transcriptions with the interpretations easily. However, there are some suggestions. The first one, choosing pre-service teachers in special education was not justified. I would suggest that the researchers should tell the reason why they chose teachers in the field of special education, because there are many teachers major in different subjects. 2. Conducting interviews more than one time can help capture the dynamism of the participants. It is very important to interview more than one time because in terms of the nature of qualitative study, participants should be treated like people, and people change, people are alive, and in a quantitative study, data are dead. So to point out, to display the differences, I would suggest the researchers to interview the participants more than one time to see whether they change their ideas or not. 3. Having other methods to triangulate the result is suggested. In the present study, the researchers only used the semi-structured interview to get the collected data. If the participants do not want to be interviewed more than one time, I would suggest the researchers use several techniques like documentary analysis or observation techniques to triangulate the result to provide depth of the results. 4th, better ways to sort out generated themes should be adopted. In the present study, themes were identified. However, there are too many themes. In this way, in the view of this, a lot of themes that were identified meant that the level of the analysis it was still very superficial and was very shallow. So to get into a higher level of analysis, I would suggest the researchers to combine or to find better words or themes to contain several of them to form like less than 5 themes. That will be better. And the last one, separating sections of results and discussion is advised. In the present study, the researchers combined the results and discussion section into one. And actually, the proportions of discussions were not enough. In other words, the researchers provided with many interpretations and transcriptions, and the proportions of the discussion was not enough. And I would suggest that the researchers should individually provide a section called discussion, because it is the section that the researchers could provide chances to show that they have ideas, they have depth, they have many interesting ideas to discuss with the readers. And it is also the section that the researchers would compare and contrast the results of the present study and the results of the previous studies, and by identifying the similarities and differences, it will be great that readers will see the depth of the research, and the readers will see the insignificance of the research. I have 3 inspirations after reading the article. The first one is that there are gaps in studies of speaking anxiety. As a novice researcher, I found it quite interesting and important to know that I will still can do something about related to the topic called speaking anxiety in the future, which means that I may focus on some special groups and starting with the bigger pictures and narrow down to the specific regional factors. And number 2, reflecting the global issues onto the research topic makes the study significant. In the present study, the researchers began with the issue of pandemic. It inspires me that I may begin with my study by speaking about the phenomenon of globalization or internationalization, and then gradually narrow down the topic into the teaching instruction like a CLIO or EMI. The last one, by applying different method and the data analysis procedures, more contributions can be expected. I'm always it will be always good to incorporate different method to get the result, because more implications from diverse aspects can be reviewed. Okay, that's all. Thank you.